Like I said earlier, we have everything you need if you want to make your own soil from scratch, or if you just want to add in something to your current blend to maybe give it a little more oomph. Hey guys, how's it going? It's Travis coming at you from cultivatecolorado.com here in Denver, Colorado. And if you can see me back here, today we're going to be going over the top 4 cocoa mediums that we have here at Cultivate. So these 4 right here, the main ingredient is cocoa fiber or Coco Coir, whatever you want to call it. 2 of them are pure cocoa, and 2 of them also include perlite, which will be the main difference between any of these. So we're basically just going to go through the different options, the different companies, and the benefits of each one. Most of them will basically be the same product because they use the same ingredient. You know, some are made different way, they're stored a different way. So knowing how they're made, what ingredients go in, where they're sourced from, that can also play a major role in choosing which media you're gonna go with. To start, let's just go over cocoa fiber. A lot of people aren't really sure what that is. So what it really is a byproduct of the textile industry in Asia. So coconut fibers obviously come from the coconut, and these companies in Asia will use the coconut, the shell, and the husk to create textile materials. And a byproduct of that process is the little short hairs and chunks of the shell all break off and fall apart during the process of making these textiles. When that happens, they collect up all that extra stuff that's fallen off on the side, brick it up, dehydrate it, and send it over here. And that is what Coco Coir or cocoa fiber is. It's the little short hairs and the pieces of the husk of the coconut that have been broken up and ground together. And you know, somebody sometime discovered that it's actually great for growing plants in. So if you want something that isn't just your typical potting soil, and it's gonna give you a little bit more control over your feedings while still retaining a lot of those nutrients that you need for healthy growth, cocoa is a great medium to look into. Now that we get the basics of what cocoa is, let's start with our list. All right guys, coming in at number 4, we have basically the originator of the straight cocoa medium and one of the most reputable names in the industry, and that's gonna be Canna cocoa. Canna is probably the most well-known name in the industry, like I said. Probably more well-known for their hydroponic nutrient lines, but when they put out this cocoa product, a lot of people were surprised because they were kind of one of the first to do it. So when they introduced this, people weren't too sure about it, but they got it into the right people's hands. They were able to grow with it and see that it actually does work better than traditional potting soils in some cases. That kind of started the whole cocoa fiber revolution, and you can thank Canna for kind of being at the forefront of that. What comes in the bag, you know, it's just gonna be straight cocoa fiber. It's pre-buffered, which means that they include some calcium and magnesium when they're making it, so it can have a little bit of that extra nutrient content when you're first starting your plants off, so they have some sort of like building block to go off of. It's gonna come also with a pH of 5.5 to 7.0, which is that perfect range that you want for your plants. And on top of that, cocoa has great moisture holding properties as well as great nutrient retention properties. So compared to your regular potting soil, cocoa can actually have up to like 10 times the moisture holding capacity. So when you feed your plants, you can feel confident that your roots and your root zone is gonna hold on to that moisture thanks to the medium, and it's not gonna dry out too quickly, so it's gonna increase maximum nutrient uptake, which is what you want when you're feeding your plants. You want them to take in as much nutrients as possible without over-watering them so they don't get sick. Now, if you are growing with Canna cocoa, they even have their own hydroponic nutrient line called Canna Cocoa, and it'll be a liquid nutrient line that is designed to be used with this medium, and you will see great results. Again, Canna is probably top 3 in this industry of companies that people trust, that people know makes a good product. So if you are looking to transition into cocoa you never had before and you just want a straight cocoa product, no frills, nothing else thrown in there, you can't go wrong with Canna cocoa. All right guys, moving on to number 3, we have 70/30 from Growers Soil. So you may have seen this company pop up in a couple videos we've done in the past. And that's because they've kind of been blowing up in the industry lately. They started out with their high porosity product, which was a cocoa, peat, and perlite mix. And they decided to just do straight cocoa and perlite, so they put out the 70-30. A lot of people kind of like to avoid the peat because while it isn't technically a potting soil, it is, you know, extracted from the ground, and so it still has a lot of those additional nutrients and pH that can impact your medium. So by getting rid of that, you don't really have to worry about buffering all that with your nutrients.
I like the sound of that.
Cocoa, perlite, and that's it. 70-30, so 70% cocoa fiber, 30% perlite. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna give you the same benefits of high quality cocoa fiber, buffered just like Canna cocoa. But with the addition of the perlite, you're gonna get extra aeration. So you'll get more oxygen to your root zone and your plant in general, while also increasing the dryability of the media just a little bit. So while cocoa has great moisture holding abilities, the perlite's gonna help a little more air get through the media and dry it out a little quicker. So you'll actually be able to feed your plants even more than with just traditional cocoa. So if you're looking for something that's gonna let you basically grow bigger plants while still getting all the benefits of cocoa without having to worry about all of the buffering you have to do with traditional potting soil, 70-30 is the way to go. Now, when it comes to the company that makes it, Grower Soil, they're a Colorado-based company that started in 2018, and they've been producing pure cocoa mediums since then. And there aren't many companies that do just that, where every grower's product, the base is cocoa. So there's the 70-30, their high porosity blend, and just a straight organic cocoa that we'll go over later in the video. I mean, to say that these guys are basically the masters of cocoa fiber would be an understatement. The founder of the company, Chip Baker, actually obtained one of the first ever import licenses for cocoa fiber in the United States back in the early 2000s. So he has been mixing soil blends and coming up with new stuff for decades, and this is just the latest iteration of that dream, and people are loving it. So if you're looking for a new 70-30 product that you want to try out, you definitely can't go wrong with Grower Soil 70-30. Now, sticking with the 70-30, we're gonna go into number 2 on the list, which is gonna be Plagron Coco's Perlite 70-30. These guys basically were one of the first to create a 70-30 product, which is just like the Grower 70-30, 70% cocoa, 30% perlite. However, Plagron also has their own straight cocoa product, and they use the same exact mix that they use for making their pure cocoa to make this. So basically, they're just taking their pure cocoa and they're adding in 30% perlite. Like the other products, it's pre-buffered, so you don't have to worry about anything there. The pH is going to be stable, so you don't have to worry about adjustments when you're planting. Plagron is known for producing high quality products. They also have some plant supplements, such as their Green Sensation. That's a really popular bloom booster that people will use on their plants. Just like with the Canna cocoa, they have products that will go good with the 70-30 that you can mix in with your current regimen just to get that added boost to your growth. Now, because I don't think I've said it before, all these products, including this one, just cocoa in general, is usually gonna work best in hydroponic systems, but that doesn't mean you can't just treat it like your regular potting soil, pour it into a pot, throw your plant in, feed it like normal, and you'll get great results. It just works great in hydroponic systems. So if you're using potting soil right now and you're having issues, making the switch to cocoa in your hydroponic system can actually make a big difference. So if you have any questions about that, make sure you hit us up and we can answer all your questions. Also, if you guys are enjoying the video so far, you're learning anything, please drop a like and subscribe. It really helps us out. All right, guys, we made it to number 1 on the list. I just want to say none of these were in any particular order. These are just the 4 main cocoa products that we carry here at Cultivate. So we are gonna have, as you can see behind me, we have a bunch of other mediums. There's another cocoa perlite right there, actually. So we do have all sorts of mediums that you need, whether you wanna go soilless or just traditional potting soil. We carry bulk perlite if you wanna make your own mixes. We have pots, we have rock wool, we have aero cloners, we have seed starter kits.
We got it all.
Anything you need to get going or just to mix up what you're doing in your grow, we have here for you. So now that we're at number 1, we're gonna bring it back to Grower Soil with their 100% pure organic cocoa product. So while Canna Cocoa is a pure product, they don't personally make the claim that it's organic. Growers, on the other hand, they have no issue making that claim because they know that all of their inputs that they get are organic, including their cocoa fiber, which is single sourced from their supplier in India, which they've had for decades at this point. What makes growers cocoa different from your regular cocoa media, besides the fact that it's completely organic, is that it is all made and stored indoors. So something you don't really hear a lot when it comes to potting soil is how it's made. And the bulk of potting soil that you will find at your Home Depot or local garden store, a lot of the inputs they use, and by inputs I mean, you know, the dirt, the nutrients, the amendments, etc. All of that is stored outdoors. While they're making their mixes, all of the inputs they're using are prone to the conditions. So, you know, rain, snow, all that's gonna hit their inputs. That can cause contamination, it can cause mold or mildew or other issues in the inputs. And if they don't catch that, that ends up in the final product.
Well, that's not good.
So it's not uncommon for somebody to buy a bag of potting soil, let it sit for a little bit, and then go to open it to use it in the spring and there's mold or something on it. With growers, all of their inputs and all of their final product is completely 100% stored indoors. And that's one of their big sell points, is that everything is kept fresh, it's all monitored, it's in a temperature controlled environment, there's zero risk of contamination, there's zero risk of your soil going bad because they don't let it get impacted by the conditions at all.
I like that.
And while it might not sound like something that would make a product stand out above the competition, these days, you know, stuff is getting expensive and you don't want to go out and buy a pallet of soil from somebody who stores it all outdoors all the time just to come back, cut a bag open and you realize half the pallet's ruined. Then you got to go through the process of trying to get a return, or you have to buy new pallets, and that's more money out of your pocket.
Screw that.
Knowing that the product you're getting is made in a clean environment, it's stored in a clean environment, you don't have to worry about any outdoor factors impacting the final product, that can just make you feel a lot more confident when you're buying it, knowing that when you open the bag, you don't have to look for bugs, you don't have to look for mold or anything like that. The product is going to be good to go straight out of the bag. That is what makes Grower Soil, the company, stand out, as well as their organic cocoa. It is pre-buffered like the other cocoa products. However, they also recommend, just right here on the bag, that when you're growing in cocoa, to add additional calcium and magnesium through your fertilizer. And that's because, unlike potting soil that is gonna come with a good handful of natural amendments that'll include different macronutrients and micronutrients and essential nutrients that your plants need, cocoa most of the time doesn't have much of anything in it. It's kind of an inert medium, and that's why people will buffer it with calcium or magnesium or gypsum, just to give it that extra base so your plants have something to pull from when you plant initially. Adding in some additional calcium magnesium through your grow process will kind of just help keep the media stable and help it maintain that strength that it started with. The last thing that they recommend is also to use a cocoa specific fertilizer. So when you're shopping for nutrients at your grow store, there are actually certain nutrients, especially liquid nutrients, that are designed to be used with cocoa fiber. So that might be Canna Cocoa. Plagron also has a cocoa nutrient line. And there are plenty of other nutrient lines that are designed specifically for use in cocoa fiber, so you can make sure that the media gets the nutrients it needs while also giving your plants the nutrients they need. The last thing I'll say about the organic cocoa is, compared to the other cocoa products that we went over from the different companies, is price. Now, I think if you're watching this video and you've been growing for a while, you're probably aware of Canna and you've probably heard of Plagron. And if you have, you probably know that they aren't the cheapest option.
They're
pricey.
And while growers cocoa is by no means the cheapest option you're gonna find, it's not some, it's not cheap dirt. But since they are a newer company and they are growing rapidly, they're trying to get their bags into the hands of as many people as possible. So they're coming in at a really competitive price point with their cocoa and their 70/30 that they just released.
I'm listening.
So if you're looking for a cocoa fiber product, you want to try something new, you don't want to go with the old guard, but you're also not trying to break the bank, you really can't go wrong with any of the grower soil line. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap up our top 4 cocoa media list. Something that we say in all these videos is, while these might be the most popular that we sell, they are by no means everything we sell. Like I said earlier, we have everything you need if you want to make your own soil from scratch, or if you just want to add in something to your current blend to maybe give it a little more oomph. Overall, when it comes to cocoa, you're gonna get more or less the same thing in any product. It comes down to the company that you want to support, how much you want to spend, and then if you really want to dive in to the product, how it's made and how it's stored. In our opinion, Grower Soil has kind of become one of the cleanest soil companies out there, where you don't hear about a lot of other companies that are doing everything as cleanly as possible, storing all their inputs and final product indoors. With that said, Canna, they've been around for decades. Plagron, they've been around for decades. Both of them are big, well-known names in hydroponics, so you can never go wrong with any of their products. And they have the added benefit of having their own specific nutrient lines that go with their blends specifically. Grower Soil isn't quite there yet. They're still growing. But like I said, you can use any cocoa specific nutrient line with their products and it's gonna work just fine. So you can use Canna Cocoa with Grower 70/30, or you can use Plagron Cocos A and B with Growers Organic Cocoa. Or you can use whatever random cocoa nutrient you found with any of these. You don't have to use Plagron's nutrients with their soil. You don't have to use Canna's nutrients with their soil, especially if you're trying to save some money. I'm rich, bitch! Overall, all of these are great cocoa fiber products. If you're tired of potting soil, you want a media that's gonna hold moisture, it's gonna hold nutrients, it's gonna let you feed your plants more and give you more control over your medium. Cocoa is a game changer. There's a reason that it's become the industry standard. Anybody who's growing commercial indoor hydroponics at this point, if they aren't going completely soilless, they're using cocoa. And even then, cocoa isn't a soil. So you can grow in 70/30 or organic cocoa and you're not growing in potting soil. It's technically considered a soilless blend. If you just want to ditch potting soil altogether and you want a product that'll get the job done even better, cocoa fiber is where it's at. If you're looking for any of these products, we have them on our website. You can find links to those in the description down below. We also have 2 stores in Denver and a 3rd store in Oklahoma City. If you're in the area, feel free to stop by, talk to us. We can help you pick out whatever media you're looking for. We can help you design your facility if you're trying to expand. We can help with all of that. So again, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, if you learned anything. If you have any questions or there's any products you think we missed, comment down below, and I will see you in the next one.